So before we go further, let us understand one small concept on conditions. So I'm gonna write one simple program for you. So not this one. Before I explain this, I wanted to explain you about if condition. So I will create one if demo.js. How does if condition works? If a condition is true, it will execute the body of the if. If it is false, if there is an else block is present, then it will execute the body of the else. So here I will write if, before that let me take two variable, x equal to 10, y equal to say 20. If x equal to y, so obviously they are not equal because we given a different value. So if I have some statement here, console.log. If you already know about if conditions and all, you can simply skip this one and go to the next video. I'll simply write yo. I'll also add the else block, else console.log. Let's say move. Alright. Now what is the output if I execute this? So obviously the output is move. The reason is because condition is false. So this is how we make a decision. We take the advantage of boolean expression to select a particular piece of code to execute and ignore other piece of code. This is a very simple example. Let's say now I'll make them as both of them as equal. So now what happens? Now we are getting output as UD. If condition contains only one statement, in this case it is true, both if and else contains only one statement, then floor braces are actually optional. So having said that it is optional, yes you can put it, but your code will not look professional, and especially in the interview you should not do the mistake of adding the floor braces when there is only single line. So now coming back to this, we got a simple introduction to if. Now the next example. So this is the example I am talking about. How that example is about how all other values are treated as boolean value. In JavaScript, any value including object will be treated as either true or false. So what values are treated to false? Let's take undefined, NaN, empty string, 0, positive 0 and negative 0. What else we have? Null. These values are treated as false. So I have made a wonderful notes for that. So please look into this. Made a list of this. Notes also has a left side in case if it is hidden like this. Please go through this sections. You can click on that and directly jump into a particular topic. So I have well organized the notes. So now coming back to this, what values are equal to false or converted to false? Undefined. So it should be in, okay, I'll edit it. It should be in small u. 1 second. Let me edit that. Now itself, so things should be clear. Undefined and null. NaN is perfect. Okay, all right. Undefined, null, 0, minus 0, NaN. You may have a question, what is the difference between 0 and minus 0? In the previous chapter I have explained it already. Alright. So only one number in JavaScript has two representations. NaN means not a number, empty string. So I have put two single quotes and two double quotes. So it's called as an empty string. So there is no character here. And the false. All these things are treated as what? False. Now what has been treated as a positive number? So all positive numbers and negative numbers except 0, and then infinity. There are three special symbolic values in number. Remember, positive infinity, negative infinity and NaN. In that NaN is treated as false and positive infinity and negative infinity are treated as true. String literal with at least one character, even if it is space, is also fine. I'll give you the real example of that. Any object, including the class boolean object. Remember, I told you that one important interquestional address. I will address that now. And symbol is another data type that is also equal to um, true, and true itself. So I have given one example here, but here in this video I want to make an new program and explain all this one by one. So let's go ahead with this. I'll say boolean x.js, because boolean 1 and 2 are given for one for the previous example, 2 for this example. So I'll give a new name for this. So here, so I told you what are the points we studied just now. Undefined, null, even the empty string treated as false. So let's go with empty string. If there's a just empty string, console dot log, I'll say yo-yo, else console dot log The reason I added floor bases is because many new students who are totally from different background, not programming background at all, will have slight confusion. So since that's not a professional way, I'll just remove that off, because there's only one statement. Doesn't make any sense. So empty string is treated as false. So what should be the output? Perfect. Now what else is treated as false? Let's go with filled, string literal with at least one character, and I told you even including space. So what I'll do, I'll simply add one space here. Now let me execute this. So that is true. So this way I want you to evaluate few of this. Let me check undefined. Undefined, let's go with a simple example, like let's say var x. If I do not assign any value, what will be the value of a variable? That is undefined. You aware of that, right? So here if I say if x, so what should be the output? So since x contains undefined is converted to false, output will be momo. Sorry. Yeah. Alright. So I wanted to evaluate and do more experiments like this. So coming to what else we have, 0 or minus 0. Let's go to one important question. So let me present it to you first. What I'll do now, I will say x equal to, first if I say 1, now output will be yo-yo, because either positive number or negative number, even negative number, are treated as true. Say negative number, right? So I'll say minus 1. See, true, because it's true, we are getting the output as yo-yo. Now the important question, I'll say new boolean false. So what do you think is the output? Confusing? First, what is this new keyword that you are not aware of? New keyword in JavaScript is used for creating new object. So that I'm going to cover in OOPS concepts of JavaScript. That is the next course. So don't worry. For now, just simply have an understanding. So by using new keyword, what I am doing, I am creating a new object here. Object contains a value false. I am instantiating a class called boolean. So now let's come back to nodes here. Let's try to understand this. What else is values are converted to true? Any object So boolean is also an object. So an object is equal to true. So I get the output as yo-yo. See this? So let me clear if there is any misunderstanding. You must understand this statement is equal to creating an object. How do we create an object? We use new keyword and a class name. So there are many built-in class that you can make use of till you learn how to create a class of your own or how to create a constructor of your own. So like boolean, there is a class called number. Okay, I can use this. Now I am not giving any value. See, you must understand, an object is something which can hold some more value, but object itself is a value that has been assigned to x. So x contains an object, so it is true. An object evaluates to true. True, right? Now even if I assign 0 to this, then also it will be true, because we are not checking what is inside this object, we are checking the object itself. The object itself is true. So this is one of the interview question, popular interview question. So if I say boolean, it doesn't matter either I say true here or I say false here. This whole thing is accounted here. This whole thing is true because it's an object, and all objects in JavaScript are evaluates to true, any object. So I hope I made the concept clear. Now coming back to this example, let me open node boolean2.js, sorry, code boolean2.js. Already have this program, let me put it here. Okay, I have covered everything one by one. I'll just explain these two here. X equal to 1, if it is true, it will display the statement. So, and x equal to minus 10. So minus 10 is evaluates to true. Other than 0, all the positive and negative number evaluates to true. So output will be along with the value x is true. So like that I have covered all the values which I mentioned in the notes. I want you to write this program and do it in your laptop. So that's pretty much about the boolean. So again we'll keep using boolean in the if in conditions and again in the loops and all. We'll cover more of this. If previous concept of explaining the new boolean object and new number object, if it is still not clear, don't worry. In the live session, please ask me that question. I'll answer it in a different way. Alright.